What has Devin Neal done really well in your eyes, especially since so much of his preseason got taken away from him? I know he started by earning the pass protection snaps, but what has he done to continue to increase his football?
I think Devin's got really good football instincts and a high football IQ. You know, it's one of the reasons I really liked him in the draft process, and I think that's shown up, you know, and he's just done a good job of getting better each and every week. Obviously, it wasn't the easiest evaluation coming out of training camp because we didn't have a lot to go off of, but each and every week he's continued to improve.
What do you think went right when you just getting off to a fast start against Tampa?
You know, I thought our guys did a really good job. They were ready to play, came out and they executed, and then they made plays.
What do you think of the year Juwan's having?
I think Juwan's having a good year, you know. Obviously, you know, new system and moving into different roles as we use the tight ends differently. You know, maybe in some we don't just use a traditional Y all the time. And, you know, we play the YF role with him. He plays in different spots and all those things. But I think, you know, you continue to see his athleticism show up. And, you know, you look back to our game against them last time, made a couple big plays against them. So, you know, obviously I think it's a really good year.
Is that athleticism kind of what you want out of that position?
Yes.
And this is like way off topic, but what do you remember about you were in Washington when Kellen was in Boise, right? Like coaching?
Yes, I think my last game at Fresno, I was coaching at Fresno. We played Kellen in Boise.
Okay.
I believe that was his freshman year, I think, yeah.
And so what do you just remember about his kind of like Heisman campaigns?
You know, the biggest thing I remember about Kellen was the guy just always won. You know, the guy always won, and obviously, if you're an Idaho Vandal, you don't appreciate that much. So he did go to the other school in the state. There is only one real school in that state, the University of Idaho, at the Harvard of the West Coast, as some people refer to it.
There's a lot of Vandals on the staff.
Yeah. Yes. I know this. We never lost to Boise when I was there.
The QB keeper game, obviously, you know, worked last week. How important, just in terms of the run game, is just that threat? Like, just the defense being aware that if we're not, you know, honoring it, that he could take it.
Yeah, it's the +1 deal. You know what I mean? If the quarterback's not a running threat, obviously the defense can +1 you because the quarterback can't block for himself, so to say. So when you add that element to it and you force the defense to play you honestly, it helps even your numbers in the running game.
The middle of the field passing attack feels like it's been either a focus or just very effective over the course of the past few games. Just what does that add for you all over the defensive side, or excuse me, on the offensive side?
Well, I think, you know, when you look at hit charts and where the ball's going, you know, it's defensive. You know, coaches do. They look at ball distribution, who's getting the ball, where is the ball being distributed amongst the field. You know, and if all the balls are out here, it's not a good thing for you offensively because they basically say, okay, let's play out here and force everything in there and see if they can throw it in there. So anytime you can spread the ball out to different areas of the field, it forces the defense to defend all areas of the field, which is what you want.
And does the way that the college game is played make that a big coaching point for either passers or pass catchers coming into the NFL?
I don't know. The middle of the field's different in pro football because of the hash marks. Our game's played in the middle of the field, really, when you look at where our hashes are compared to college hash marks. So spacing, when you talk about, you know, the passing game itself and you look at college pass principles and you apply them to the NFL, sometimes they're so far different. That's like a play that looks good in college football. You're like, well, that's not going to be so good because they got so much extra space to the field, and they have sometimes, you know, play that doesn't work for them into the boundary may work more efficiently for us because we have a little more air into the boundary than they do.